sports show here on ABS TV, radio, and we'd also like to welcome our viewers joining us on Facebook. As usual, we have a packed show for you tonight. Got a little bit of everything. Some football, obviously, which is our new segment which we started. So we have our friends visiting us from Football Profile 268. We're also going to have an update on how our island girls are doing with their transatlantic voyage. We have some cyclists who are going to join us as well. So, and as always, we have Dr. Rick from AUA giving us his take, and I think we should continue our discussion on creatine, which was where we left off. So as usual, my name is Desmond Blow. I'm always, usually, I should say, joined in the studio by my co-host Ricky Santos. Ricky, good evening.
Good evening. And after a little hiatus last week, we had to make way for the budget. But we're pleased to be back on air and interview these young budding stars and have some other news in sports and so forth. But of course, as usual, before we even get into these young Generation X football club players that we have here, I'd just like to thank the sponsors of Generation X. As I say every week, if it wasn't for these sponsors, not even this show would be possible. They're the ones who came on board, and most of them have been with us from the very onset. So we'll kick it off, and we'll start off with our platinum sponsor, which is North Coast Hardware. Have two locations, one in the Village Walk and the other in the Blue Waters Main Road. So for all your hardware needs, check out North Coast Hardware. Our gold sponsor, Frank Wall Limited, the Candyman. Wherever you see those M&M products and other assorted candies, Frank Wall Limited is responsible for that. So check out the Candyman. And we'd like to thank our silver sponsors, Kenneth A. Gomez and Sons, for all your insurance needs. Check him out there in the Royal Palm Court, which is just off of Fries Hill Road. And our other silver sponsor, Island Photo. For all your photography needs, whether it's photo frames, film development, or whatever to do with photography, check out Island Photo. And they have two locations, one in the Royal Palm Court, which is off of Fries Hill Road, and the other on Redcliffe Street, Lower Redcliffe Street. So check out Island Photo. We'd like to thank our shipping sponsor, Antigua Cargo, located on Independence Avenue, upstairs of Bike Plus. For all your cargo needs, how small or large, check out Antigua Cargo. John Andrew and his wonderful staff would make sure that you're well taken care of at the best reasonable rates. We'd like to thank Beach Limers, who is our bronze sponsor, for fine dining right in the ocean at Fort James. Check out Beach Limers. And of course, we'd like to thank our football sponsor, which is Excel Engineering. For all your generator needs, Excel Engineering is the place to go. And we'd like to thank our brokerage sponsor, which is Francis Trading Agencies. I know that's a long list of sponsors, but we do appreciate each and every one of them. And of course, Zico, this week is a big week, which we're going to talk about later. It's the fifth annual Gomez Netherlands Insurance Youth Football League, and we have some fine additions that are coming, which, as I said, we'll discuss later.
And actually, just to preempt that, our league kicks off this weekend. And joining us now in the studio, two of our players who are going to represent the Generation Next Football Club in that upcoming league, which starts on the weekend. Welcome, boys.
Yes, and we have Jaydon Jeffers, and we have Logan Noon. And of course, Jaydon is family is very familiar with Generation X, as his older brother Vernon was formerly a member of the Generation X Football Club. Anyway, welcome, boys.
How are you boys doing?
Good. We're good.
Are you guys looking forward to the upcoming Youth Football League?
Yes.
And what do you think your chances are going to be?
Winning.
Winning?
Yeah.
How about you, Jaydon? You think you stand a good chance to win your division?
Chance.
Okay, now we start with you, Logan. What got you into playing football in the first place? Why did you start then?
Football's pretty fun. Exactly.
Your dad encouraged you, or you saw it on TV, or?
I saw it on TV.
And you wanted to get into the sport?
Yeah.
How about you, Jaydon?
Basically, my brother.
Your brother encouraged you. And your brother was a pretty decent footballer. I'm hoping he's continuing his football. Does he still play football?
Yes.
Yeah. And what school do you go to, Jaydon?
Kids Unlimited.
Sorry?
Kids Unlimited.
Kids Unlimited. And what class are you in?
Grade 6.
Grade 6. Do you have a favorite subject?
Yes.
What's your favorite
Social
subject?
studies.
Social studies. Okay, Logan, what school do you attend?
I go to St. Anthony's Secondary School.
And what class are you in?
I'm in first form.
And do you have a favorite subject?
Yes. It is math.
High five, buddy. High five. Yes.
And we have a lot of mathematicians.
Yes, and
it seems to be
I'm impressed because math has been a troublesome area, and I'm putting on my teacher hat now.
yeah.
Math has been a troublesome area in recent years, and so the amount of students we've had, of players coming in, we've had on the show, by far most of them actually are saying math is their favorite subject, which is excellent. So keep it up, Logan.
Yeah, just keep up your grades. Do you have any? I know you both of you are fairly young, but do you have any ambitions in life, Logan, and what you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be a professional football player.
Okay, and Jaydon, how about you?
Same with me.
Same with you, want to be a professional football player. But I hope you guys, both of you, realize that you have to take your education seriously also to get to that part.
Yeah.
Okay, because education is very important in terms of when you become a professional player and you have a good education, you can manage your finances well, and even after your career in sports, then you can go on and do other things and even stay around the sports. And Zico, there's so many different avenues now.
There are a lot of different career opportunities that surrounded around sports that may not necessarily be may involve playing professionally, and so it's an education process to give our youngsters as many opportunities as possible to be associated with the sport. But the ambitions of being professional athletes, that's excellent, and I'd say continue training as hard as you can and try as best as you can for that to be a reality.
And these are two players that are constantly at practice a lot. They're always there at almost every practice.
Extremely coachable, and that is going to go a long way in helping them to achieve their goal.
Yes. Okay, and Logan, do you have a favorite team?
Barcelona.
Barcelona. And do you have a favorite player?
Griezmann.
Griezmann.
But how does that work?
I've never heard anybody call him a favorite player. That's a first.
He's a pretty good player. In all fairness, he's a pretty good player. But it's a little strange to have a favorite team being Barcelona and your favorite player being somebody other than Messi, right?
Well, maybe because of the French connection that he has. I'm not too certain. Is that so?
Yeah.
Yes, I believe so. That's what I thought.
That's a pretty good choice, though. Griezmann is a really good player.
And Jaydon, how about you? Do you have a favorite team?
Yes.
And what's your favorite team?
Manchester United.
Oh no, Jaydon, me and you're gonna argue.
Anyway, but that's
Anyway, that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. Do you have a favorite player?
Paul Pogba.
Sorry?
Paul Pogba.
Paul Pogba. Yeah, that's a good choice. That's a regular choice.
Yeah, but it is.
So now we have the upcoming youth football league. You said you're going to win, and Jaydon was still a little hesitant. And what do you think your chances are?
Keep going.
Still good.
Still good? You think you're going to win then?
Yeah.
Oh,
What
that's good.
what are some of the teams that you guys enjoy playing against? Because we play a lot of different teams. So what are some of the teams you enjoy playing against?
Well, I normally like playing against, like with the A team and the 1 team. It's pretty fun.
And who do you like playing against? What are some of the
different
teams,
club.
different clubs that you play in our competition?
Willies?
They're pretty much the same.
Oh, okay, fair enough. We're not going to put you in the
What
spot.
about you, Jaydon?
Northern Patriots.
Enjoy playing against Northern Patriots. Northern Patriots, they're really good. They're getting a lot better.
Yes,
They've improved tremendously. So
and you're a well-structured team, to be honest.
So to the guys at Northern Patriots, keep doing what you're doing. We've seen the improvement, and I'm pretty sure everybody else has. And I expect you guys to have good teams in the competition. Shout out there.
Well, yeah, just before we go to shout-out time, we want to wish both of you the very best in the upcoming league. And we'd also want to wish you the very best in your educational studies. Now, shout-out time. Logan, we start with you. You'd like to give a shout out to anyone out there listening to you?
I would like to give a shout out to my dad and my mom.
And what's your dad's name?
Dominic Noon,
And your mom?
Carol Noon,
Anybody else?
my sister,
And her name?
Brittany Noon.
Yeah, and she's becoming a very famous model. Jaydon, would you
I
like to give a
also
shout?
like to give a shout out to my mom, my dad,
And what are their names?
Polly Jeffers and Vernon Jeffers.
Anybody else you like to shout out?
My brother,
And his name?
Vernon Jr.
Okay. Well, young men, it was a pleasure having you here. We hope you enjoyed your stay here with us this evening. And as I said earlier, we wish you the very best in the upcoming Youth Football League. And let's hope you represent Generation Next well and do a good showing. Give me a big up.
Good job, guys. So that was Logan Noon and Jaydon Jeffers, two young upcoming players who hail from the Generation Next Football Club. We're going to take a short commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to be joined in the studio by Aiden Cannonier and Rene, Gayral, and they're going to be talking to us about cycling. Stay tuned, we'll be back shortly. Keep going, keep going.
In case of an earthquake and the place not shaking, drop, cover, and hold on. Drop, cover, and hold on. In case of an earthquake,
there's a few tips that can keep you from harm. In case of an earthquake, you gotta stay calm. Move away from doors, windows, and things that can fall. Try not to use steps or elevators at all.
drop, protect your head on your face. Don't go running all over the place.
Cover,
Under a bed or a table, against a wall that's firm and stable.
hold on.
You must hold on, don't panic, stay calm.
Don't move until the shaking stops.
Here it is.
Drop, cover, and hold on.
Drop, cover, and hold on. In case of an earthquake.
Drop, cover, and hold on.
Learn how to protect yourself during an earthquake. Log on to weready.org. That's weready.org for more information.
On February 3rd, experience an orchestral night of symphonic allure as the Halo Foundation presents a symphonic friendship in partnership with Fond Degdar and the St. John's Pentecostal House of Restoration. With breathtaking musical performances by the internationally renowned musical group Forte Trio of Kazakhstan, together with the Antigua and Barbuda Youth Symphony Orchestra, promoting cultural ties between our two nations. Embrace this moment of musical art at the St. John's Pentecostal Church, House of Restoration. February 3rd, 2019, 7 to 8:30 p.m. Tickets are $90 and available at the Office of the Governor General, Government House, St. John's Pentecostal Church, House of Restoration, and Cloggy's Cafe, upstairs Antigua Yacht Club Marina in English Harbor. February 3rd, a symphony of friendship.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the GN Sports Show. And joining us, as promised, we have some young cyclists who are doing really, really big things in the persons of Aiden Cannonier and Rene, Gayral. And I'm also joined by my good friend Alistair, who's our resident cycling aficionado, and so he's gonna ably assist. Well, I don't think you're gonna assist. I think this is more along more along your expertise. So I'm going to be playing the role of assistant. Yes, I'm co-pilot. But gentlemen, welcome to the GN Sports Show. Thanks a lot for agreeing to join us. I've been hearing really big things about both of you, and I think it's about time that the rest of Antigua shares in your wonderful accomplishments. So I'll let you guys first introduce yourself, and then just to give us an idea of who you are and what are some of the things that you've done. We'll start with Rene.
Good night, Antigua Barbuda. My name is Rene Gayral Jr., son of Rene Sr. I'm 17 years old. I'm attending Granville Secondary School. I'm a cyclist, a part of my own team Team Jeffs, and that's about it.
So what are some of your, because you're being extremely modest, Rene, because off camera, Alistair gave me a long list of your accomplishments, and I'm not hearing any of those. So listen, here, we have a rule on the GN Sports Show, especially for our young athletes. If you've done something good, this is the place for you to shout it from the rooftops and let everybody know. So there's no need to be modest and be shy. So I'm hearing championship caliber cyclists. So give us an idea of what are some of those accomplishments that you've managed to achieve so far.
Well, so far I managed to accomplish a couple of firsts in various countries. Like in Antigua, I managed to pull off a first place in a time of 2 hours and a couple minutes short. And I also got a place in Barbados in the Junior Caribbean Championship, CCC. That'll take place in Barbados. Time, I can't remember what is the exact date, what it was. I also take place in the OECS race in Dominica. That was last year. And for last race that we did at the, in Param, I placed first for the mountain bike race.
Well, he is actually the current reigning Antigua Barbuda road race champion, junior champion.
Yes.
Aiden Cannonier here has played a little bit of second fiddle to him, but he's come in a couple of years behind Rene. But Rene has had a wealth of experience. He started on a mountain bike, and after beating up on people with a mountain bike, his folks, well, actually the Federation has a bike loan policy, and when we saw the potential of the boys, we had loaned them 2 bikes, because there was Rene and his elder brother Emmanuel, and they both capitalized on the additional mileage they were able to put in with that, and in turn they have subsequently got their own bikes, and they have now moved to another level. The last 2 years he has been junior champion. He is now mixing it up regularly with the elite riders, and we have a series of elite riders who, although their age works against them because they're in their 40s, some of them, their training regime and their performances throughout the Caribbean shows that we still punch above our weight, which is really good, and it's been great to encourage in, of course, more youngsters like Aiden, who is a latecomer in a sense compared to Rene, but is now coming on in leaps and bounds.
Aiden I'm familiar with, because I teach him at Otters Comprehensive. So he's one of my former students. I've actually had him in my form class, I think, last year. So Aiden I'm really familiar with as a student. I'm not so much familiar with Aiden. Well, I know he cycles because I see him, but I'm not familiar with Aiden Cannonier, the cyclist. So, Aiden, tell us about you.
Hello, my name is Aiden Cannonier. I'm a junior cyclist. I started a bit late, but still, I'm coming along quite fine. I started on a tricycle, as everyone said. It was like, no.
Big old lion bike.
So my parents decided to upgrade me to a bigger bike that fits and works. And I've gained some first place, some second place. I podiumed with it many times. And right now I have the fastest time for the
for the time trials.
Yeah, the Potworks down.
Potworks Bethesda time trial.
Yes.
Yeah. We have a series of individual time trials, and then we have, of course, the national time trial along with the national road race. But he has performed very, very well and represents with Dadley Cycling Academy.
Yes.
His club very, very well. And you know, they in turn are one of the few. They're probably one of 2 clubs, main clubs on the island, and they are growing, and they're very, very. I have to say, a big up to Sinclair, because he's been quite proactive. Sinclair and Denise Francis have been very good, and they're getting more youngsters engaged in the sport.
Yes.
But yeah, Rene has performed well in Anguilla at the John T. Memorial Invitational, and this year you finished, I think it was 4th overall, was it?
Yes, it was 4th overall. You
were 4th overall against elite riders, and obviously came home first in the junior. Another junior cyclist from Antigua, David Simmons, came 3rd in the race. So it just shows you again that the caliber that our young guys have here, with even with our road conditions, but the fact that we have so many small hills, like one of the guests that I did a tour with recently said it's like doing intervals, which it is, because now Emmanuel has moved to Guyana. He is actually doing very well as well. Yeah.
I know it's early in the year. I mean, we're in the first month of the year, but give us an idea of what are some of the upcoming competitions that you have, whether it's regularly or within the Caribbean, that you guys are looking forward to participating in.
Well, I'm looking forward to participating in most big events that are out there waiting for me. Like, I intend to go back to the John T. Memorial race this year, and also in the Junior Champion Caribs, because this is my last year in juniors. So I'm planning to finish it off very strongly, so I can make better chances in the elite class.
What about you, Aiden?
Well, I'm aiming for as he said, most of the big races overseas, because you have to expand your training level through different terrains and different training schedules and regiments. So next month we're having, not our country, the British Virgin Islands are hosting a invitational for the Caribbean islands, and I'm hoping that we'll be ready to participate in it if we can, and if we get the funds.
Excellent, boys. Again, from our end at Generation X, we want to wish you guys all the best. Keep training, keep putting in the work, and hopefully you guys will podium and medal in some more races, and we'll get you guys in to keep us updated on your success. Ladies and gentlemen, those were 2 of our top junior cyclists here in Antigua and Barbuda, Rene, Gayral, and Aiden Cannonier, and we'd just like to give you guys a heads up on what is going on with cycling, names that you should remember, because these guys are doing big things, they put in the work, and hopefully they get the results. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, our folks. Oh, we have a check. We have a check that we're gonna present. I think Rory's going to join us.
Well, because one of the other points I was going to mention, actually, and we've segued a wee bit away from it, was actually Rene has actually been nominated by the Antigua Barbuda Cycling Federation as a Junior Cyclist of the Year. So,
Junior Sportsman.
Junior Sportsman of the Year. Sportsman of the Year.
That's excellent.
From the cycling.
Congratulations.
So he's done an excellent job in that regard. He's been a good ambassador for Antigua and Barbuda.
Well, I had a good motivator, which is my brother, Emmanuel Gayral. He's in Guyana recently right now. He's doing pretty well over there. And I respect him, and he just came from a long line from the family. He's in the blood, the cycling's in the blood from since my cousin used to watch him ride in the park, and we used to support him, and along with my father, he supports us a lot. My mother and everybody that knows me supports me in this kind of field and sports.
And that's
even
excellent.
It is. I mean,
and that's one of the conversations that we had. One of the issues that our young athletes have, not just cycling, but I've seen it across the board, is not enough support from parents, not enough support from the community, not enough support from the individuals who can be most influential on those persons.
That's right. That's right.
It's important that we get that. We get that going.
That's correct. I think right now within our federation we have a core in the executive that recognise that, and some of us have been very proactive with trying to assist the young guys. I mean, I do a lot of assistance with logistics, and in all fairness, it sounds like a one-way street, but they do give back. When they're lapping me, they say, "Come on, old man, hold on to us, hold on for a while," and I try and hang on for a lap, but it burns me out.
Funny thing is, I had a couple of students before Aiden who were cyclists as well, and there was a running joke in our physical education class because I would take them outside and we'd do sit-ups and push-ups, and I would smoke them. And one of them was like, "So why don't you get a bike?" I was like, "No, dude, you're not going to take me all the way out to the bush and leave me there and come home and then come to school on Monday and say, well, you left Mr. Blow way back there. So I'm going to stick to what I know."
I hear that. Well, they smoked us on the mountain bikes. I mean, I do a fair amount of mountain bike riding, and our cycling club, Roadrunner Cycling Club, have started a mountain bike series last year. We had an event scheduled for this weekend coming, but we're postponing it because we're putting together a points battle for the end of the year. So it'll be a 6-round championship, mountain bike sprints at Crabs Raceway. But that's for another day. They smoked me in that as well. So it's great having you guys on the show. We look forward to monitoring your progress.
And again, Rene, congratulations on that Junior Sportsman of the Year nomination. We're looking forward to big things from you. That was Rene, Gayral, and Aiden Cannonier, young, upcoming, exceptional cyclists in Antigua and Barbuda, and we wish them all the best. So what we're going to do now, we're going to actually take a break, and then when we come back, there's going to be a lot more from the GN Sports Show. Stay tuned.
When it comes to your health, there are many options, but which do you choose? Your choice is going to be determined largely by your view on what being healthy really is. We at AUA place a high degree of importance on health and education, so we've created this program to provide you with solid information that would facilitate your decisions regarding your health. Join us for AUA's Healthy Perspectives, hosted by Vernon Solomon of the American University of Antigua.
Daddy, why can't we use the regular containers, and instead of the recycling bags, why can't we use plastic bags?
Remember this word, right? Environment. You understand? I'm going to show you why we can't use the foam or the plastic bags anymore. Because environment, the key word, the environment. Let me show you. You see this? This is the reason why we have to get rid of plastic and styrofoam. This will hurt the environment. We are a tourist destination. Everybody's supposed to use Cook's Dump. That's what they're supposed to be using. We have to embrace the change. We have to accept. I know people arguing about plastic and everything, but to protect our 365 beaches, our island, our beautiful tourist-loving Antigua and Barbuda, we have to embrace the change. Please clean up. Pick up where you use up. Let's clean up. Keep Antigua and Barbuda clean. You understand what I'm saying to you, baby?
Dad, I have an idea. I'm going to do my part in protecting the environment by using recyclables and cleaning up for my sister and I.
Well, welcome back to the GN Sports Show here on ABS Television, and we're proud to say, as you can see from the shirts we are all wearing here, that we have a representative from Team Antigua Island Girls, and then we know those wonderful girls are going to be returning home in a very short time. So a really good fanfare, we hope. And Marcella is here to discuss it, and also Alistair is going to be presenting Marcella with something.
Yeah,
before she leaves.
we have a couple of updates. I do updates for one of the radio stations, and so I follow the girls and their progress avidly. And obviously, over the last 48 hours, there were some challenges. We've subsequently, some of us watching from far away have picked up on their challenges because we could see their distance, and they were covering in 24 hours, dropping drastically along with their speed. So they've pinned it down. It was an auto helm problem, and they're working away on that, and they've also been steering the boat by hand and by feet, and we can see the difference. They have picked up speed. They're now capitalizing on the winds. The men of oar that were gaining on them, the girls have put another 2 miles between them, so they've gone from 41 miles to 43 miles behind, which is good. And we can see that they're actually one of the fastest boats in the remaining fleet, working their way into Antigua. So we're really, really stoked to see that update, which came in about 20 minutes ago. First class. So Marcella, it's positive vibes now. They had a lot of us.
It had everybody, we put out a post letting people know what was happening, and they have since MacGyvered their way through the situation, and things are back on point. They're back to rowing. They got some help from the safety officer, the head safety officer, Ian Couch of Atlantic Campaigns, and right now they are ready to go into beast mode.
Well, they're in beast mode.
Beast mode.
And I see you have some lovely, lovely hats here.
Merchandise. We have flag colors, as you can see here. We have all the flag colors. These are now available in limited quantities. So if you really want it, don't be a part of the last minute society and try to get them on Tuesday. Don't call me. They are at our locations.
These are done.
Yes.
These shirts are sold out. These are sold out.
Let's get to these hats. Where can you get them, and what's the price?
So you can get them at the same locations that we have had the shirts at Rivers by Quintessence, Kennedy's Club at Powell, Ken's Club, Kennedy's at Powell's, the St. Paul Service Station. Edith Clashing, of course, she's our super delivery person. She really has been doing a great job. So these are now available, and also, we have some stickers that you can give to your children. You can put them on books. Very simple.
Put them on your car.
Put them in your car. They're $10. Well, these are a little bit smaller than regular bumper stickers. So do what you want with them. They're stickers.
Yeah.
And they're part of history.
Exactly. You want to get something that says, I support Team Antigua Island Girls. I was there when all of this happened. Onion Song was there when all of this happened.
Yes.
Sweet Island Girls.
Yeah.
I thought that was a wonderful touch.
It was.
And I would assume the welcoming party that will be there, that song will be played.
Of course, we're expecting it to be playing all weekend.
Yes.
Well,
all weekend and onwards.
It's a top hit on WhatsApp right now. I mean, it's everywhere.
Are the girls stoked about coming home?
They are. Listen, I honestly believe food is driving them. They really are they want to come home. They're still in great spirits, even though they had their challenge earlier today. They're in great spirits, and they just want to come home.
Well,
they're ready to see land. They're ready to see real food.
I saw pictures of the first female team that came in earlier today.
Atlantic.
The Row for the Ocean. Row for the Ocean girls. and they were pigging out on dockside in English Harbour outside Copland Lumber. So, you know, it's a big thing. I mean, Ian Couch's update, also the Chief Technical Officer was indicating that some of the crews were having, you know, little issues with the food, a lot of it down to not being hydrated properly. So this is still a challenge. I mean, the girls have 200 and change miles, 254 miles to go. So they still have a ways to go. It's great seeing the speed is up. It's great that the merchandise is going, because as I was saying, the rash guards or these sunscreen shirts, they're sold out, I believe. So
yes,
if you're wanting shirts, get to the outlets.
There are T-shirts available, like what I'm wearing.
$75.
$75. There are also children's sizes. Well, more like, you know, little, not babies and not teenagers. There's small shirts available.
Little women.
Little people.
And
primary school children, let's say.
And talking about the merchandising.
Yes.
How are the fundraising going?
The fundraising, listen, I want to say everybody who, say thank you to everyone who has moved into action. We have had people calling us from business places saying we did a collection, could you come and collect? We had, I mentioned before that the police force of Antigua and Barbuda, they have a Thanksgiving service normally in January, and they did a collection for the girls. So we have lots of people collecting money, and I'd have to say that by the end of this week, we should be able to say we can deposit at least $30,000.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes,
that's encouraging, very encouraging.
And as we're in this topic of donation, I think Alice,
hang on.
You have something.
A man of many shirts. Let me.
You have something.
Many shirts and caps.
Many shirts and caps.
Cap this evening,
I'm going to drape my Roadrunners Club membership shirt on, and we would like to present Marcella with a cash donation. And this was generated by our cycling club, not last weekend, but the weekend before. We did a series of rides where we pledged between 50 cents and $1 a mile, and we went out, and the club members generated about $515 EC. And
we appreciate it.
Get the check in pronto. And I mean, that's on top of the fact that a lot of our club members have also, you know, come out and supported with merchandise. We also did the row event, which was run, ride, row or walk up at Sir Vivian Richards Stadium. It was one of the last events the girls saw us before they went. So as a club, and I tell people on the radio all the time, look, you know, pick whatever you want to do. You know, any sporting challenge,
because I'll tell you, in a lot of the
challenge.
Contributions that we've had where people have come together and organized, I've collected bags of coins, but money is money.
Money is money.
Money is money. All right. So if all you have is $2, throw it in the bag, throw it in the cap, throw it in the hat, and put it all together, and it all adds up.
It adds up. It adds up. So,
well, I'm glad to hear that the fundraising is going well.
It's picking up.
I'm glad to hear that it's finally, as you said earlier, last minute.
Yes, listen, and everybody's looking for shirts, everybody's looking for merchandise, caps, etc. And just a reminder, we do not have a lot of these caps, so if you need to get a cap, please make it your business between tomorrow, Saturday, to go on out. We'll have a pop-up on Saturday that will be announced a little later, but we're going to be out there. We actually have 300 caps. We had 1,000 t-shirts that were divided into different colors, and the shirts are already going quickly. We've made several deliveries today to stock up the various locations, and they've called us again for the day saying we're out. So if you really want a shirt, if you want a piece of history, now is the time to go and get it.
The caps are 100 EC a pop.
Yes.
The shirts, $75. And well,
the stickers are $10.
These are $135, and these here in turn are $10. So, you know, come and get your authentic, genuine Team Island Girls merchandise.
Yes.
And the same outlets that Marcella so eloquently put across earlier. Okay.
Well, Marcella, it was a pleasure having you here again.
As always.
And we look forward to the girls returning home. And of course, we'd love to have them here on the GN Sports Show.
Of course, they will.
And I know they'll be pretty tired and pretty busy. But when they have
they'll be busy eating.
When they have some downtime, we'd really like to have them here on the GN Sports Show.
We'll definitely make sure that happens.
I think we've got a couple of dates lined up for. Well, you've got a couple dozen. I've got a couple of dates lined up for the young ladies. It's been fantastic journey. Brilliant challenge. I mean, I have to confess that I'm tempted myself.
Okay.
Yeah,
We're going to see Alistair next year.
Coming out, I'm doing a test run in a few weeks.
I said before that that's not for me.
Alistair, thank you very much to Roadrunners once again. Thank you for ensuring that you have
to be able to support and
Yes.
like I say, it's our pleasure. It's our pleasure.
Okay, and on that note, we'll take a short commercial break and we'll be back with Rory Butler from the AUA Rohrman.
Hello.
When it comes to your health, there are many options, but which do you choose? Your choice is going to be determined largely by your view on what being healthy really is. We at AUA place a high degree of importance on health and education, so we've created this program to provide you with solid information that would facilitate your decisions regarding your health. Join us for AUA's Healthy Perspectives, hosted by Vernon Solomon of the American University of Antigua.
Every weekday, 9 to 10 a.m., join me for Life with Natalie on ABS Radio 90.5 FM. Life, let's claim it.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the GN Sports Show. And as promised, we're joined in the studio by Mr. Rory Butler from the AUA Rohrman, and Rory is going to give us an idea of what he's going to talk to us about that event. It's an event that has been around for a while, but I get the feeling that it's a little bit unfamiliar to many of us. So Rory, welcome to the GN Sports Show, and thanks for joining us this evening.
Good night, Ricky and Desmond. It was great hearing from the island girls. It's exciting that they're almost here. But it's great to be here tonight with you.
It's a pleasure hosting you. And we know the AUA Rohrman started off as a tin man, and then it went into a full triathlon, I think it is now.
Yeah, so the history of the triathlon goes back to 2012 when we first started, and it was called, actually it had a long name at the time, the Jonathan Rohr Memorial Tin Man. And it moved on as the Tin Man, became the Tin Man Rohr. About 5 years in, we changed it and we've named it the Rohrman, which also coincided with a change of distance of the triathlon that we do. And the Rohrman is named after Jonathan Rohr, one of the founders of the event, who unfortunately died before the first event for a heart problem that he had. You were saying that the event has changed. It certainly has changed. It's evolved since 2012. So this is, I think, the eighth event now that we're doing. It's become what is now from like one major event to a triathlon festival. And the big addition that we have this year is that we have made it into 2 days. So we have the AUA Rohrman Antigua on Saturday, March 9th at Friars Beach, and then we have the Jumbi Bay Fund Rohrman Barbuda Day 2 at River Wharf, Barbuda. So the AUA Rohrman Antigua features 10 different triathlons, starting from ages 6 and under, going right the way up. The feature event is an Olympic distance triathlon, and then we have a sprint distance and a mini distance. Sprint being half of an Olympic and mini being half of the sprint.
So for those of us who are not completely familiar with those distances, give us an idea of first the Olympic distances in terms of the triathlon, because first of all, most people are not familiar with the triathlon as a discipline. So give us an idea of what are the things involved, first of all, in the discipline, and the differences in the distances for the Olympic, for the sprint, and for the, what was it, juniors, or for the younger ones?
Yeah. So I mean, from the 6 and under, the races start, as you can imagine, pretty short. So we do just a 5-meter swim for the kids, and then they do a 100-meter run, 100-meter bike, followed by a 100-meter run. And they scale up from there. We go 8 and under, 10 and under, right the way up. For the Olympic distance, it's obviously the one that they do at the Olympics. It's a 1,500-meter swim, a 40-kilometer bike, and a 10K run. And as you say, you know, it's fairly new to the Caribbean. We haven't had too many people from the Caribbean represent in the Olympics for triathlon. It's one of those sports that's very hard to qualify for the Olympics. We have had 2 Bajans who have qualified and represented the Caribbean at the Olympics. One of which will be coming down to the Rohrman on Saturday, March 9th. That's Jason Wilson. So he will be competing there along with the pros that came last year, the 2015 European champion David Horse, and the Andre Hewitt from New Zealand, who has placed in the top 10 at the past 3 Olympics, 6th, 7th, and 8th at the Beijing Olympics, London Olympics, and Rio Olympics. So we have a couple of very
prominent athletes that will be coming here.
Yeah, exactly.
And I noticed, like for instance, last year and the year before, you had major athletes or former stars or even future stars that have come from international events to come here to train actually for what they're going to participate in. Are these going to be doing the same thing, using it as a training exercise for?
Yeah, certainly. So, for example, Andre Hewitt would not be her first time coming, and not last year, but the year before she came, and the week afterwards, she was racing in Abu Dhabi for the International Triathlon World Championship Series, and she won that. And she would have given an interview afterwards and say, yes, you know, I just came from Antigua, that's where I trained, and got ready for this World Championships. But it's part of the model that we have done, where we have brought in usually 1 or 2 pro athletes in a largely amateur race, which is something that's quite unique in triathlon, because a lot of people who come here, you know, we do get a lot of people from the region who come here, and some prominent regional athletes who come here as well as people, you know, just doing it for the challenge. But one of the unique things that we have is that these pro athletes come and they race in a largely amateur race. Now, typically in the triathlon circuit internationally, you would have the pros race separately and the amateurs race separately. So it brings this unique experience where you get to race alongside some of the best athletes in the world in the exact same races, same start time, same course, everything. And because it's a fairly small event, you know, compared to the scale of these events, we're talking about 5,000 people on the start line. It gives you that chance where the athletes come and they get to learn from these pro athletes and speak with them directly as well.
But don't sell it short, because it has grown tremendously from 2012 to what it is now. It has really blossomed into something really, really big, and I think you get international recognition of when they go back. So it's a form of sports tourism actually, because it does get out there internationally, and with these international athletes coming here, I'm sure they go back and talk about our wonderful island and so forth. So I want to commend you, and I know you spearheaded this from the inception. You were part of the formation?
Yeah, I was part of the original group, but I have to give credit to the others as well.
Right.
Andre Simon, Wayne Henry, and Jonathan Rory would have been the four of us, and who have all stayed involved to the extent that they can. Andre is currently away studying, so sometimes they play the role that they can to the extent that they can.
Okay, so just before we let you go, when is this event taking place again?
So it's 2 events. It's
these events,
2 days with several different events. So it's about 20 different events in all. So we have Saturday, March 9th, the AUA Rohrman Antigua. That's at Fry's Beach. And I would just mention quickly, one of the interesting things about that too is it will be the national championships, but it will also be the qualifier for the Carifta, which is a new addition. They're 3 years in with the Carifta Triathlon Championships, which is going to be in Jamaica this year. So it's a great chance for all the kids to qualify for Carifta. All the Carifta distances are done. And we actually have young athletes from Trinidad and Barbados coming in to use it as a warm-up for Carifta. So that's a great opportunity there. And then the Sunday is the Barbuda leg. If I could just quickly mention some of the sponsors.
Right, I was just about to ask you that, actually.
So, it's obviously a non-profit event, and it's made possible by the American University of Antigua, the Jimby Bay Fund, Cool and Smooth, the government of Antigua and Barbuda, the Ministry of Sports, as well as the Tourism Authority, as well as Soufriere Spring Water, Stonewall Sounds, Island Sanitation, Special Security Services, Antigua VIP Tours, Tamarind Hills, and Sugar Ridge.
You have a good memory. You have a good memory.
That's an extensive.
And of course, the National Olympic Committee.
That's an extensive. We would like to just thank you again for joining us and giving us some information on your upcoming event. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Rory Butler from the AUA Rohrman. We're going to take a short commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to have my segment, the part that I enjoy most. We're going to have our friends from Football Profile 268. They're going to be here. We're going to recap action for the last week in terms of football and hopefully get a look at what's upcoming on the weekend. Stay tuned, we'll be back shortly.
Danger can be this close. How can you prevent dengue? Dengue fever is caused by a virus that is transmitted by the Aedes mosquitoes. Currently, there is no vaccine for dengue and no specific medicine to treat dengue. Prevention, therefore, is very important. Play your part in controlling the breeding of mosquitoes and take precautions to avoid being bitten by mosquitoes. Control breeding. Mosquitoes that transmit dengue prefer to breed in waters that are clean, stagnant, and shady. These vectors like to live indoors and are found in dark, cool places like closets, under beds, behind curtains, and in bathrooms. Use an insecticide to kill mosquitoes in these areas. Properly dispose of all unwanted containers, junk materials, tires, coconut shells, etc. When not in use, turn over all pails, buckets, and water storage containers. Cover all containers like rain barrels and drums that are being used to store water with lids. Every other day, change water in flower vases and scrub the inside of vases to remove mosquito eggs. Remove water from flower pot plates. Scrub the plates thoroughly to remove mosquito eggs. Try not to use flower pot plates. Clear blockages in roof spoutings monthly. Regularly treat and circulate the water in swimming pools. Take precautions. Close your windows and doors at dawn and dusk to prevent mosquitoes from entering your house. Consider using mosquito nets even when resting during the day, as the Aedes mosquito is a day biter. Wear full-sleeved clothing like long pants and long-sleeve shirts to cover the body. Apply DEET insect repellent like ORF on your exposed skin to prevent mosquito bites. DEET insect repellent is available as liquids, lotions, and sprays.
This message is brought to you by the Antigua Broadcasting Services.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, with the GN Sports Show, and we're going to talk football. As we said last week, we introduced a new segment in the GN Sports Show, which is dedicated solely to recapping all the football action from the first, the second, and the Premier Division. A couple of weeks ago, we started off with Mr. Astel Joseph. I am so much happier to welcome the lovely Shaquila to the studio. She also works at Football Profile 268, which is really, really good in keeping us abreast in what is going on with football. And I dare say she's a lot more good looking than Astel.
Thank you.
No worries, Astel. We're still really good friends, but I'd much prefer Shaquila being in the studio. So Shaquila, what we're going to do, we're going to go through the results and the top 3 standings for the first and the second division really quick, and then we will come back to the big one, which is the Premier Division, and we will have all the recap and all the action from that division. So we can start with the second division, and we can get some results from some of the games that were played, and also the standings and how things are going in that division.
All right, well, I'll start with Monday and then go down to Thursday.
That's fine.
All right. The games for Monday was between Wilkies and Lion Hill, and that game played to a 1-1 draw. On Tuesday, and that's first division. Second division was English Harbour played Young Lions. Young Lions defeated English Harbour 4-1. Abaya played against Golden Grove, and Abaya defeated Golden Grove 3-1. Glanvilles played against Bowlands, and Bowlands defeated Glanvilles 3-0. Bassett played against Benders, and Bassett defeated Benders 3-1. Jennings United played against West Ham, and they lost to West Ham 2-1. On Wednesday, this is the second division. Blackburn Palace played against CPTSA Wings. Blackburn defeated Wings 3-0. Earthquakes and the Herbert game did not play. Real Blizzard played against Freeman's Village. Real Blizzard defeated Freeman's Village 2-1. Mahaiko, wow, this is a big loss for them. Blue Jays defeated Mahaiko 5-0. And Master Blasters and 5-Piece played to a 1-1 draw. Today's encounters were between Rangers, who defeated Police 2-0. Potters drew 2-2 to Bullets. Empire defeated Fort Road, wow, 3-0. And those are the encounters for this week.
All right, so let's get some standings in the second division. Bear in mind that the second division has two zones, right?
Yes, it does.
Right, so we can get the top 3 from each of those 2 zones for the second division, and then we'll move on to the first.
So the top 3. All right, in the zone 1, because they're divided into 2 zones, as he just said. And the zone 1, we have the top 3. Bowlands is at the top with 27 points.
Bowlands doing really, really good.
Yes, they are. Point West Ham is on 24 points in second place, and third place is third place is Jennings United with 20 points. So you can see how really close it is
really close.
at the top.
Excellent.
Right. And wow, this one is also close. Blue Jays is at the top with 25 points, and they're tied. Well, Young Lions is in second place with the same 25 points, and third place Real Blizzard FC with 18 points. So it's really close in both divisions. Well, both zones.
For Blue Jays is one of those teams that have been thereabout, always leading their group, always in the top 3. Hopefully, it looks like our friends from Cedar Grove may actually pull it out this year. So what about the first division? What are the standings in the first division?
And you said the top 3?
Yeah, the first division is getting really, really, really tight. My good friend Cheyenne over there at All Saints United is really doing some good work. So shout out to Cheyenne. Because give us an idea of the standings in the top 3 in the first division.
First division, in the number 1 spot, we have All Saints United with 27 points. Second place, we have John Hughes FC with 26 points. And third place, we have Pickett's Bullets on 21 points.
That is extremely close.
It is,
extremely
actually.
close. And it looks like All Saints United, John Hughes and Bullets are beginning to separate themselves
from the pack.
From the pack. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting because I'm pretty sure those teams have to play each other going down the stretch.
Yes.
And that is the excitement of football. I like when it's really, really close. There are no runaway leaders.
Yes.
So when it gets to crunch time, it's like every single game matters.
Every single point.
We're dealing with cup finals.
Yes.
All right. So we got the first, we got the second division.
Yes.
Now let's talk about what everybody goes to see on the weekends.
Yes.
The ABFA Premier Division, the big one, the big boys, the big leagues.
I feel the excitement. I'm just like that as well. Wow, the first game for last week, which played on Saturday, was the 5 p.m. game between Sweets and SAP FC.
I'm going to keep on my GN Sports Show hat at this point, and I will reserve my comments. I reserve my comments on that game for another time.
I wonder why. Well, that game was a bit of a nail-biting game for me, actually. Yes, because...
For a little bit.
Yes, yes.
I will say, not so much nail-biting, but, you know, just...
A stunner?
Incredible to watch what happened. I mean, it worked out well for us in the end, but, you know...
For us, meaning Sweets.
For us.
Yes, yes.
Us meaning Sweet.
And the tables actually turned this week where Sweets were scoring the goals in the final minute. So, and they usually concede goals in their final minute. So, it was really good. SAP lost to Sweets 4-1. Wow. The first goal came from Peter Byers in the 10th minute. Wow. That was a stunner, and that was a good goal as well.
Peter Byers. My good friend Peter. Well done, buddy.
All right. Then we had a goal from Azina Sullivan, a penalty kick. Right? And then we had 2 goals coming from a veteran, Randolph Etty Burton, in the 76th minute and the 87th minute. And the final goal came from Azina Solomon again in the 90th minute. Yes.
4-1 to Sweets.
Yes.
The second game on,
yes.
Second game on Saturday was another good one.
Yes, it was. It was a stunner, actually. It was really a shocker for everybody, I think, in ARG, because everybody came with an expectation, and it didn't go that way.
I had an expectation, and it went pretty much how I
really
hoped that it would.
Oh, you hoped?
Worked out wonderful for me.
Well, in that last encounter on Saturday at 7 p.m., Liberta played against 5 Islands, and they lost 3-0.
It's 5 Islands going down 3-0 to Liberta. I'm going to be completely honest. I was hoping for a good game. I didn't see it going that good, but I'll take it. We're good.
My thing with that game is, though, that Liberta just came out on fire. Like, they shocked 5 Islands, though. 5 Islands weren't ready for them.
They punched them in the mouth first and kept punching until
Yes. The first goal came in the 10th minute with a header from Jamoy Stevens. Then the second goal came in the 15th minutes from Lennox Fox Julian. And the final goal of the encounter came from Javon Benjamin, and he's a school guy, and we're going to see him on Friday, which is tomorrow.
He goes to Clear Hall, right?
Yes, he does.
Fantastic
and
player.
In the 52nd minute, yes, he is.
Sunday games.
Sunday games. First encounter was, wow, a really good one as well. All Road FC and Hoppers played to a 2-2 draw.
That was a good game.
Yes, it was.
In my estimation, probably the best game of the weekend.
I would agree.
Outside of mine, of course. But I'm kind of
biased. I would agree. We're always on our toes. We're moving, you know.
It was a good game.
Yes, it was really a good game.
That was a 2-2 draw.
Yes. The goal scorers for All Road were Jario Escobar and Alexin Monsoot. And for Hoppers, we have Smiley Thomas and Eugene Curran. And Eugene Curran has been scoring those goals.
That's how many goals for Eugene now? 14?
I think, yes. So, and he's like away from the pack.
It's a lot of goals. I think Zeno is in second with 10.
Yes, I think 10. So. Yes, that's just about right. All right. The second encounter was between Aston Villa and Triumph. What are your thoughts on that game before I give the points? So,
it was interesting seeing 2 of our older players making their return, but it added a bit of stability to the team defensively, and that enabled them to at least get a point, share a point. You know, so like you said at the start, at this point, every single point matters.
It does.
And everything goes to your tally. So kudos to Mr. Gary Gonzalez and Steve Roy Anthony for, you know, answering the call and showing up and putting in some good work.
Yes, I must agree. That game ended with a 1-1 draw. Rivero Yasmin scored that goal in the 76th minute to equalize because Fabian Barron scored the first goal in the 53rd minute. The final game was between Grenades FC and Param FC. Grenades FC defeated Param FC in the dying minutes, 90 plus 3 minutes. What are your thoughts?
Rene seems to be making a habit of scoring goals late. But despite not playing up to their full potential, they seem to find a way to pull it out, which is a hallmark of any good team. And so you must give them credit for that. But, you know, I think the coaching staff would be a little bit more comfortable if they wrap it up earlier.
Yes, yes.
And so the final game on...
Well, that was the last.
Final game.
Yes,
that was
it
the final
was.
game. And it worked out. It worked out to the extent that everything is really close. So what are the point standings now for the Premier Division?
Do you want me to go
Top
from
three.
Top three? All right. In the number 1 spot, we have cool and smooth AC Delco Global Bank of Commerce Hoppers, right? And they're on 20 points. Second place, really close, we have Sanders Inet Grenades FC, 19 points. And third place is with Dudley Event Services, Oysters Veg International Suites, on 18 points. So it's from 20, 19 and 18. Yes.
So the Premier Division is also set up for a fantastic finish.
Yes.
Like I tell, at this point in the season, every single game that you play is a cup final, and it has to be treated as such. Right. Shakila?
Yes.
We definitely didn't have enough time.
I agree.
And hopefully I'll have a quick word with my producer when we finish tonight and see how much we can extend our football profile time. Because when it gets to football, you know, it's one of the enjoyable things.
It's just something to keep going and talking about. Yes. It's so exciting.
Yes. So Shakila,
fantastic.
Thank you so much for joining us and filling in so ably for Astel. Please don't send him back.
Thank you for having me.
And ladies and gentlemen, again, that was our good friends from Football Profile 268 giving us an update on the happenings in football from the first, second, and also the Premier Division. Stay tuned. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to have our resident doctor in the house joining us, Dr. Rick Millis from the American University of Antigua, and we're going to continue our discussion where we left off with creatine and its benefits and usefulness. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned.
Make sure you arrive at the right destination each morning. Get on the gospel train with Lance and Kenneth. Great music and inspiration and lots of positive energy. Tune in every weekday morning from 5 to 6 a.m. only on ABS Radio and TV, The Gospel Train.
My family is gone and I'm so lonely.
I'm polluted and the gardens are thirsty.
The garbage is building and mosquitoes are reproducing.
Lend a hand to plant more trees and use recyclables to reduce litter. The mosquitoes and flies will have less hiding ground and the fish will be able to breathe.
Love Antigua, protect the environment.
A collaborative message from JCI Antigua, the Antigua and Barbuda Red Cross, and Rotaract Antigua.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the GN Sports Show. And as usual at this time of our program, we are joined by Dr. Rick Millis from the American University of Antigua. Dr. Millis, welcome again to another edition of the GN Sports Show.
Thank you. We missed last week.
Yeah,
what was going on last week? I lost it.
We had to take a second place in a very important budget speech.
Oh.
So the budget speech was re-aired. So that's understandable.
The budget speech. That was the Prime Minister.
Yes.
That's correct.
Preempted by the Prime Minister. Well, okay, I don't feel so bad then.
Yeah.
Very much. So last time we were here, we started our discussion on creatine, its benefits, usefulness, and interestingly, I started thinking, would creatine as a supplement, bearing in mind we had a little bit earlier speaking about our young ladies rowing, would creatine as a supplement be useful or even helpful to these young girls for this tremendous achievement that they've taken on?
Well, that's an interesting question. Of course, what we said about creatine before is that it increases muscle strength, right? Doesn't do much for aerobic power. In other words, the ability to sustain exercise over a long period of time, other than it makes them stronger. But they have to do it while they're training. So during the training period, what they should have done is load it up for a week with 5 grams 4 times a day. Now, a bottle or a container of creatine usually comes in like 1,000 grams. So there's like, if you think of a serving as 5 grams, which is a scoop, so that's 200 servings. But for the first week, they should load up with 4 of those a day, 20 grams a day. And then taper off to 5 grams a day forever and maintain it. So that's what they should have done. And when they were training, what would have happened is they would have been able to push themselves harder. Okay. By pushing yourself harder, you can build more muscle, right? In other words, at times when they would have liked to stop training, they can keep training.
To continue.
You see? And so they would have really had much more muscle. Sometimes, 20 to 30% more. Women don't get as much a response as men for some reason. We don't really know why, but they do get a response. So increasing that muscle strength and being able to push themselves harder during training would have helped them, of course, during the race. And during the race, they should be taking creatine. Now, nobody really knows in these extreme sports how much to take. Should they be taking that normal 5 grams a day, or should they be taking extra? Probably extra. Probably more like the 20 grams, the loading dose.
For the duration of the entire race.
That's right, because what they're doing is they are, of course, depleting their creatine. They're depleting their muscles. For example, they're going to lose a lot of weight.
Yeah.
They're going to lose at least 5, maybe as much as 8 or 10 kilos when they arrive, compared to when they left. And the other thing is hydration. Of course, they're getting dehydrated, and they have to just hydrate. Creatine actually helps with the hydration because it attracts water into the muscles, and it helps you retain water in the body. So
the muscles actually look fuller.
The muscles look fuller, and believe it or not, it's the water that's attracted to those muscles that actually increases the ability of the muscle to make more protein. And protein, of course, is the basis of the strength of the muscle. In other words, the fibers that create the strength in the muscle are proteins.
And speaking about the young ladies, you mentioned the creatine loading at the very start of their training cycle. Would that be the same for someone, let's say, based on our environment in Antigua now, where physical training and strength training is becoming really, really popular, and there's an upsurge in gym memberships and more people who are actually lifting weights. If someone who's just getting into strength training, weightlifting, would that same 20 grams per day for the first week be recommended at the start of the creatine cycle? Okay.
Absolutely. That's kind of the standard. And it does work, and it does also prevent the adverse effects of heavy training, heavy resistance training, and one of those adverse effects, of course, we already know is inflammation. Yeah. The muscles get inflamed, and so creatine reduces the inflammation too. It also acts as what we call an antioxidant. You heard of antioxidants? A lot of our vitamins, like vitamin C, is an antioxidant. So the rowers, weightlifters, anybody doing this heavy resistance training and want to build muscle should be also taking antioxidants like vitamin C, and creatine really helps with that a lot. The other issue is lactic acid. Heavy training, heavy work in muscles creates this
lactic acid
to build up, which produces soreness and actually stops a person from pushing themselves to their limit.
Because if you're sore, you definitely can't continue the training program that you should.
Yeah, but can somebody take too much creatine? Like, for instance, you're telling them all the benefits of the
yes,
creatine.
good point.
In terms of building the muscle, and then listening to the audience out there, someone may say, well, if 30 grams is good for me, let me take 50.
Take 60.
Let me take 100.
Yeah.
So you like
Ricky
to give it
always
warning?
comes up with the difficult questions, doesn't he? He always asks the questions that we don't really have an answer for. There's no evidence in the literature that the young, adolescents, normal, healthy adults, the elderly even, have any adverse effects from too much creatine, but we really don't know what dose that is the limit. In other words, we assume people are taking the normal recommended doses. But yes, can somebody, let's say somebody who has epilepsy, somebody who's prone to seizures, we don't know really about them too much. We think it's safe, and in fact, in animals, creatine has been shown to have an anti-seizure effect to prevent it, but it hasn't been studied in humans yet. I would like to study that.
I would love to study that, because I had two brothers, one who's still alive, and both are epileptics.
Yes.
And that would be a very interesting thing.
That'd be quite interesting.
And,
yes.
and one is still experiencing it. The other one, of course, my eldest brother, is no longer with us, but my youngest brother, he suffers from the same thing.
So somebody like that, we're not sure about. Somebody with kidney disease. Here's a downside of creatine that's not really an adverse health effect, but it could have an adverse impact on the diagnosis of kidney disease. The breakdown product of creatine is called creatinine. Creatinine. So if you don't have a very pure creatine, and by the way, I recommend getting creatine with no sugar, no additives, no extra amino acids in it or anything, just plain pure creatine. And I'm not sure of the prices here. Of course, I'm never sure of the prices here. When I go shopping here, I'm always amazed at how much pistachio nuts cost, for example. They're very expensive, where in the United States they're relatively inexpensive. Of course, we know that problem. But with creatine, in the United States, that 1,000 grams that I said had 200 servings, which a person then, if they're serious about taking creatine, they only need creatine, one of those containers, every few months, is $20 on Amazon.
Yeah.
And that's the pure creatine without
the extras.
Without the extras. And 20, maybe the purest might be $30. And here, it might be double. Or could it be triple? Could it be?
Try quadruple the price.
Really?
Probably.
We should check. I'm gonna check that out tonight at Epicurean.
Sadly, supplementation in Antigua is an expensive proposition.
See, yeah.
It is.
But is there a natural way to get it without?
Very good point. What, Ricky? You're amazing. The things you think about. Have you been reading it? You haven't been reading. I know this is from your brain.
It is.
You do have a good brain. Okay, you want to go to medical school? Make you a doctor.
I did pre-med actually, but anyway.
You did?
We did pre-med.
Yeah, I did.
I wonder what changed your mind.
Anyway.
Anyway, it must be the chemistry maybe.
Yeah, I was good at chemistry, but anyway.
Oh, you were? Okay, good. So so what was the question again? You let me forget.
The natural pure.
Oh, the natural, yeah. So creatine, we're taking in our normal diet. every day we're taking in 1 to 2 grams of creatine. So when we're taking powdered creatine, let's say 5 grams, we're just adding on to the 1 or 2 creatine that we're already ingesting if we're eating animal protein. Fish, meat, poultry, all those animal proteins have creatine in them, and that's what we're ingesting. And so some of my muscle mass, your muscle mass,
No.
yours, I see yours.
Mine is dormant.
Well, you're wearing a short sleeve shirt, so we certainly can see yours.
Mine is dormant.
You can't see mine, of course, but you know. Anyway, so some of that muscle mass that you have is because of the 1 or 2 grams of creatine you're taking in together with your diet. You're hydrating well, and so you're building muscle just from that without any exercise. Or you're at least maintaining your muscle.
Are there any natural occurring creatine in plants?
No.
Or is it limited to animals?
Yes.
Okay. So for the persons who are vegetarian and vegan,
that's a good point.
then it's important for them to supplement with the powder.
Yes.
Because it's not available in anything other than plants.
Exactly.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yes.
And the body does need it.
Well, the body makes its own too. I mean, in other words, it's you do ingest it, and it does get in your muscles, and the muscle itself makes its own creatine. So it's not like it's essential. That means an essential nutrient is one that we have to take in because we can't make it. Okay. No, the body makes its own creatine. The muscle makes its own creatine because if you remember, we said creatine stores energy, is an extra storage of energy. Remember that ATP, the battery juice of cells we talked about, the battery juice of the muscle? It's called ATP. Well, creatine stores that ATP, that extra energy that we need to cycle our muscles very fast to allow them to respond very quickly to our workloads.
This is why what you mentioned about the vegetarians and the vegans. And, just thinking of a few people that I know that are both vegans and some vegetarians, they have very little muscle mass.
There you go.
So that makes a lot of sense.
Yes, and it surprises some people that even without exercise, some people maintain really good muscle.
Like me.
Yeah.
Dr. Wick, excellent topic, and that's something that we could probably continue further. Again, we'd like to thank you for, as always, keeping us abreast and in tune with what's happening on the healthy side of things, and we'd like to thank you again for joining us on the GN Sports Show.
You're welcome. I would remind you that AUA has that AUA Rohrman
we had him on
marathon coming up, and of course I represent AUA. Don't forget to say that sometimes.
No, we say it all the time.
Definitely, our resident doctor. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Dr. Rick Millis, as always, keeping us abreast with the changes in health. And we'd just like to thank Dr. Rick again. Unfortunately, this has brought us to the end of another exciting show, the GN Sports Show. We'd like to thank you for joining us, listening, viewing, audience, and also on Facebook. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Good night.